Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Jaded Blossom's August release is now available, and it's so much fun. If you can tell from the picture, it's a coffee themed release, and I love making coffee themed cards. Here are the 3 items I received. I have the Coffee and Friends stamp set, the coffee word dies, and also the basic word dies. So here's a look at the Coffee and Friends stamp set. There's a few images you could color. I love the sentiment, especially sip, sip, hooray, coffee is on me today. That'd be the perfect sentiment, and then you could add a gift card inside and give it to someone. There's also the little gnomes, so if you love gnomes, this is a great set. Both of the word die sets have the word die and also that outline die. So I've already gone ahead and cut apart all of those dies so you can see the actual size. The basic word die is a great set. I love having hello and thank you. Those are sentiments I use all the time. And then the coffee words, well, those will go perfect with all of the coffee items I have from Jaded Blossom. Here are the other stamps and dies that are part of the August release. We have the clear jar, the coffee add-ons. So these stamps fit inside their clear jar. There's the floral coffee art, beautiful sentiments, and there are coordinating dies for that set. The kawaii coffee breakfast also has the coordinating dies. Aren't those fun with all the little faces? And then they're sprinkled with love that has some images you can color and also a bunch of sentiments. Then the last 2, muffin without you, all sentiments that work great for breakfast foods, and then mushroom for coffee. And I will have links for the products in the description box below if you are interested in any of the new release. I'll be making 2 cards today. I'm using some Doodlebug Design paper. This is their Cream and Sugar collection. It's an older collection from 2016, but I love Doodlebug, so I do tend to buy more than one of their paper collections. I have some pink and white polka dot paper for the background and also this beautiful plaid paper, and I'll layer it all on some pink cardstock. I'll be adding a couple of stitch strips, and I use Jaded Blossom's border dies for those. Cut one out of some yellow cardstock and the other out of this pink, it's kind of a pinkish purple cardstock. I put some double-sided tape on the back, attached the 2 strips together, then I'm adhering it to the lower portion of the card. And I'll just flip it over and trim off the extra. I'll put some ATG tape on the back and put my card front onto a card base. And for this card, I will have 1/8 of an inch of that white card base showing. We'll also be adding a stitch circle die cut. I want it flush to the left side, so I made sure to trim that down first before adhering my card front to the card base. Then before I adhere this circle die cut, I'll add a few scrap layers of cardstock underneath where it goes off of those 2 layers of the stitch strip die cuts, just to keep everything nice and level. And I do need to add at least 2 layers of cardstock, otherwise there'll be that noticeable bump on the front of the card. And I know someone will ask why I'm not wearing any nail polish. I do tend to select nail polish colors that coordinate with the paper collection. But my family and I just returned from a little vacation. I do like to take off polish if we're on vacation, and I just didn't have time to paint them before getting this video up in time for the new release. For the image on the card, I'll be using Jaded Blossom coffee dies. This is not a new die set. It's not a new die set, but it is new to me. I love all the different coffee cups that you can assemble. It even has the little sleeves to decorate. So I use one of the pattern papers for the scallop coffee sleeve, and I have some white shimmer cardstock for the lid of the coffee cup. And I'll just adhere this onto the circle die cut. I'll also be adding a couple of the coordinating ephemera pieces from the Doodlebug Cream and Sugar collection. Before adhering the cookies in place, I will add some scrap pieces of cardstock. On the blue cookie, I'll put 1 piece just on the right side where it goes off of the cup, and then I'll adhere it in place. For the yellow cookie, I'll be popping it up using some thin foam squares. Just add a few, remove the release paper, and I'll overlap the yellow cookie on top of that blue cookie. For the sentiment on the card, I'll be using both of the word die sets. So I have the word thanks, and I'm using some beautiful iridescent cardstock from Tonic Studios. This is the Petal pink color. For the word outline, I'm just using some solid white cardstock. So I put some liquid adhesive on the back and layer those two die cuts together. And just to save on time, I've already assembled the other two words. So the full sentiment will be, thanks, a latte. Thought that was a lot of fun. So for all the areas where the word thanks goes off of that circle die cut, I will add some scrap cardstock. So I'll just need to trim it down to the right size. Only part of the T and H will be touching that circle die cut and the rest will be off. So I'll glue those in place, and I decided to put it at a slight angle. Since most of the A will be on that circle die cut, I'll just add some liquid adhesive. And even though the latte word is not touching any of the circle, I still decided to add some scrap cardstock underneath just to lift it up slightly. It would have been easier to simply cut out another latte outline instead of all these little pieces, but I had all these scraps sitting next to me, so I decided just to use those. So put some liquid adhesive on the back and adhere it to my card. And I had just a tiny bit of the scrap cardstock peeking off from the L, so I just needed to trim that off. Then to finish off the card, I'll add some pink bling, and this is just some old bling I've had in my stash forever. I'll put 3 of them around the sentiment, and since they are fairly old, I'll also add just a drop of liquid adhesive. I want to make sure they're going to stay in place. I find sometimes that older bling doesn't stick very well. Then one final finishing touch, I decided to add a little bit of sparkle to the cookies. I'm using a glitter brush from scrapbook.com. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 1. I love all the pink, and the iridescent cardstock is so pretty. For card number 2, I decided to use a card sketch for inspiration. This is from Sketch Saturday. It's number 617. And if you are interested in this sketch, I do share that over on my coordinating blog post. The link is provided in the description box below. I'm using more papers from the Doodlebug Cream and Sugar collection. I have these adorable coffee cups for the background. I have some red striped paper and also some teeny tiny coffee bean pattern paper. It's so cute. I used some more of Jaded Blossom border dies, this time the scallop. Just add 1 to the outside edge of that striped paper. Before adhering this piece to the background paper, I decided to add a couple of Love from Lizi peel-offs. This is the gold color, and these are the pinstripe style. Just putting 1 along the edge of that coffee bean paper, just for a little extra separation and sparkle. Just wrap those ends around the back and then adhere this piece onto that coffee pattern paper. Then I'll layer the panel on some red cardstock. And it's a lighter red. It has a little bit of a pink color to it. It matches the pattern paper perfectly. I'll put some ATG tape on the back and adhere my card front onto a card base. And I will have that 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. For the sentiment, I've already stamped this out. Love this sentiment. Sip, sip, hooray, coffee is on me today. I used some brown ink from scrapbook.com and then layered this piece on that same red cardstock. Before adhering the sentiment panel, I will add some scrap cardstock above and below where it goes over that coffee bean pattern paper. This will just help keep everything nice and level. Then I'll put some liquid adhesive on the back and adhere it to the card. So you can see I'm not following this sketch exactly. I did decide to use a larger sentiment instead of that small 2-inch square that's indicated on the sketch. I stamped out a second sentiment and fussy cut out the little coffee pot, and I decided to color that. Very simple coloring using some Copic markers. I'm not fancy at coloring at all. In fact, I rarely ever do it. For the bow, I used some brown and white twine, and I did a double bow. Adhered it to the card using a small glue dot. And I decided to add a small banner in the upper right hand corner instead of the 3 small circles that's indicated on the sketch. And this banner is from Jaded Blossom's banner die set. I love the little stitch banners on that set. Then I'll finish off the card with a few pieces of bling. This is just some bling I have from my stash, adding 3 of them. And using a red Copic marker, I'll color the heart that's at the end of the word today. There's a tiny little heart on the coffee pot, and since I stamped it out in black ink, that heart is black, so it doesn't really stand out. I'm adding some Nouveau Crystal drops. This is the red berry color. Just putting it on top of that heart so it'll have a little bit of color and some shine. Also adding some Glossy Accents to the little reflection on that coffee pot. And I use the glitter brush on the red heart, and then I'll cover it up using some Glossy Accents. So there'll be just that hint of glitter underneath that shine. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 2. And I love how this one turned out. That sentiment is perfect. You can easily add a gift card inside and give it to a teacher, a friend, family, anyone who loves coffee. So here's another look at the 2 cards I made using Jaded Blossom's August 2021 release. It's such a fun release with all the coffee themed items. I do have links provided in the description box if you are interested in any of the products I used in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.